But yeah. So.
Hello, this is Anthony. Welcome to Logic of Liberty. As you can tell, this is not our normally formatted show. We did something a little bit different this week, and that's because we have a very special guest on the show. We have Adam Gilio of the band Professor Redbear. He is the multi-talented, multi-instrumentalist of the band. And the reason he's here today is because his debut album, called Everything We Know Is Gray, will be coming out Tuesday, February 11th, just 2 days from now. This album, Everything We Know Is Gray, really diverse album, a lot of different kinds of music on there. very liberty oriented for all of you guys out there who need music that isn't so left leaning to listen to. That's wonderful. Everything We Know Is Grey is going to be available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Music Store, CD Baby, RDO, Spotify, Rhapsody, Rumblefish, iHeartRadio, many other places. It's going to be available almost everywhere. Now, what we just listened to is a track from the album called Liberty 25I, and that was actually a censored version of that song. And it's reason enough for all you listening out there to go out and buy this album just so you can hear the uncensored version. He does use the F word in the true version of the song, and it loses something. I mean, it's only a couple of times in the song, but it really loses a little bit of the power, taking the swearing out of there. And it wouldn't be a Logic of Liberty show if we didn't go off on some sort of tangent. And we're just going to go ahead and do that right now. I don't care when music is censored. That's fine that it's available that way. But really, yeah, swearing can make a song really powerful. And the reason I think it is because it's taboo. Because people
Sure.
for whatever reason, for cultural reasons, have this weird hang up about a few words in the English language, and I'm glad. I hope they always stay taboo, because when they are used, it just makes whatever that person's saying that much more powerful. Whether you agree with that or not, fine, but when I'm listening to music and it's and they have some of these words in there, I don't know, sometimes I think it gives it a little more punch, and when things are taboo like that, then they can hold more power. It reminds me of Harry Potter, when everybody's afraid to say Voldemort, because when you fear a word, Dumbledore's always like, when you fear of a word creates fear of the thing itself, or whatever. But it makes whenever Harry says Voldemort much more powerful to everyone else.
Right. Yeah.
I think the same could be said for the F word.
Yeah.
So there's my tangent there. I like swearing in music, I guess. That's the bottom line.
So do I. Well, personally, I understand your point, and I totally agree. But personally, I don't even. I don't agree. I don't believe in the concept of curse words. That's just something that I don't believe in.
Well, I agree too. I mean, I don't think that one word is different from another word. If you use screw in place of the F word, it means the exact same thing.
People know what you're saying, yeah.
But I do like that the F word is rarely used, because then it does.
Well, that's true.
It does have that punch when you use it. So no, I don't believe in swear words, but I'm glad there are swear words.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree. Yep.
If that makes any sense whatsoever. So I have a series of questions here for you.
Yes.
A series of 10 questions, which you're going to answer. And for those of you who are curious, yes, this is Adam, who is normally co-host of the show,
yes.
who is here as a guest today, not in his normal role. So really, I have the super easy job, the easiest time hosting I think that I'll ever have, because all I have to do is come up with some really easy questions here, and then he has to come up with some really smart answers to those questions. So,
all right.
Pressure's on you.
Yeah. Okay.
So, first question. How did Professor Redbear begin?
Okay. Well, I mean, really, I've been in and out of bands since I was like in 5th grade. I've been playing music for a long time. In the beginning, it was mostly like just punk bands and stuff like that. And, I kind of stopped. I kind of got out of playing music for a while, and life got a little crazy, and I ended up going to film school, and I was studying film, and I needed music for my projects, and you can always get like free music, Creative Commons music or stuff that people create that you can use for free, but I don't like to do that. I wanted something for my projects. So we were doing this project called Roommates, about this guy who's obsessed with Roseanne, and we needed music for the scene, showing this guy doing all these crazy things at an altar with blood and stuff. And I was like, well, let me take a crack at that. Let me see what I can do. So I got in. I had sequencers and stuff like that, like Fruity Loops, and I started playing around with it. And I had a lot of fun, and it came out really well, and everyone really liked it. And I mean, that's kind of how it started. The Professor Redbear stuff, yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, the song from Roommates,
yes,
called Roseanne,
yes,
is the introduction to Logic of Liberty normally.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, if anyone who's interested, who wants to see this short film that features the music that we now feature in Logic of Liberty, it's RUEMATES, Roommates.
Yeah, you can see it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's really how it started. And then, I did another project called A Reasonable Snowman, which is the closing music now for Logic of Liberty.
Interesting.
Yeah. But, that was a really hard project for me because it was supposed to be like an experimental film and all this stuff, and I just had no ideas. So I decided I was going to start writing the music first and then write the film to the music, and that's what I did, and it came out really well.
Okay. So, on Everything We Know Is Gray, you did all the writing, all the performing,
Yes.
all the mixing and mastering.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
yes, I did.
where did you learn to do all these things?
A lot of it, YouTube, watching YouTube videos, reading books. One of my first recording books was Home Recording for Dummies or something like that, and there's a lot of information on YouTube. You can figure out how to do just about anything on YouTube. And then I'd say a big percentage of it's trial and error. I just record stuff and then start playing with it. That's pretty much it until it sounds pretty decent.
So there's a lot of libertarian message on this record. Mm-hmm. How did you come to libertarianism?
But it's a funny thing because I used to consider myself a liberal. I was a quote unquote Democrat when I was younger in high school or whatever. I guess I thought I was, but the more I get, the more liberty minded I become and more involved in the movement I become. I'm still the same person. It's just I understand the truth behind politics, why Democrats are bad or what. I don't know what I want to say there. Why, they're usually good people, not the politicians, but they're good people who are Democrats because they believe the hype, I guess is what it is. And I remember, honestly, the first thing that got me moving towards libertarianism was the show South Park. It was around, I think it was my first election that I voted in, and they did the was it Giant Douche and Turd Sandwich episode?
About was it Gore and Bush?
I think so. And that episode really opened my eyes because I always loved South Park and I always loved the message, and I didn't realize at the time that they were libertarians, Matt and Trey. And that episode really opened my eyes. And then from there, I found Ron Paul and I found John Stossel and Penn Jillette, who I had been a fan of for years. I started finding out that he was a libertarian and listening to things he had to say. So I think I was always a libertarian. I just didn't know it. And then, when I found South Park and Ron Paul was the big eye-opener. I was watching the debates, and I never watched the Republican debates or the Democratic debates because they just upset me. But then I remember I heard Ron Paul, and I was like, this guy's a Republican? What? No, this can't be. I would say Ron Paul was probably the biggest influence on me going to libertarianism.
I think a lot of people can say the same, myself included.
Yeah.
So I noticed this album has explicit content.
Uh-huh.
What's the nature of this content? What makes this an explicit album? Other than we've already discussed, there's a little bit of the F word.
Well, what makes it explicit? I mean naughty words.
Yeah.
There's.
But what else? I guess what I'm trying to get at is there are some controversial maybe lyrics in this album, not only related to politics, but a little bit toward religion. and I just
Oh yeah, well, I am.
I don't want anybody to have any surprises if they go out and buy the album.
Well, I mean, this is true. I am also a pretty outspoken atheist, I guess you want to say. Part of my belief system is that I don't want anything to try to control me or to, interrupt my free thought or anything like that. So, I do say some pretty, I don't know what I want to say, uncolorful things towards religion that could be seen as blasphemous, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
But,
So-
but if you're a conservative-minded person, like if you're a libertarian or anarcho-leaning or anything like that, I definitely think there's a lot on the album that you can relate to. If you're a devout Christian, there are some songs that will probably not be your cup of tea, I guess.
Okay. Do you want to point those out, or because I mean, you can buy singles.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a song called "Lord" that if you're a real devout Christian or a strong believer, you probably want to stay away from that. A love song, yeah, has some pretty. It's just something that a Christian wouldn't really enjoy. Yeah, but I think that's about it.
Laser Eyes, maybe.
Oh yeah. Okay. Laser Eyes. Yeah, there is. I mean, that's kind of. It's not as overt as the other songs, but it does mention some blasphemous things. And there's a song called "Catholics Are Silly," that there's actually probably a lot. But
With all the other songs.
But all the other songs are.
But I would definitely recommend for anybody who's libertarian leaning, maybe you're a Christian, you don't want to buy the whole album. That's okay. Definitely, it might not be for you to get all the songs, but Liberty 25I, You're a Bucket of Meat.
You're a Bucket of Meat, yeah.
Very libertarian. Mousehead, which we're
Mousehead.
going to end the show with. There's a song called Mousehead, Fight the World, which also has a good message, I think. And it's one of the catchiest tunes you're ever going to hear.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's definitely a strong libertarian message, and it's also kind of like a love song, too, at the same time. So it's, yeah. I really like that song. The song Proviso, I think, has a good libertarian message. It's about crony capitalism. And, like you mentioned, You're a Bucket of Meat. It's just about how, politicians treat us and view us as just objects to use for their advancement. Yeah.
But if you're a libertarian atheist, you are going to love this album.
Libertarian atheist,
You're
yes.
going to love this album.
Yeah.
So, how was this collection put together? Talk a little bit to this. Because it wasn't the intention for you to release an album with these songs on it. How did you bring this together?
I mean, originally I had just, after Roseanne and Reasonable Snowman stuff, I just started recording a whole bunch of stuff all the time. I mean, I record constantly and, varying qualities of songs, and I would just keep recording. And then, I started to notice, well, some of these songs, they're pretty good. So I wanted to do something with them, and I started playing with the idea of like releasing an EP with some of the songs or whatever, and I just kept accumulating more and more songs. And then, I started coming up with the idea for the Disco Gravy series, which is a series of free albums you can get from ProfessorRedbear.bandcamp.com. And, I started releasing, these songs that I had a lot of fun making, but I didn't really see as being, very marketable. I didn't want people to have to pay for them, but I wanted to release them. And I started doing that, but then I had this huge list of songs that I thought were worthy of like an actual release. And I started trying to whittle them down. And I actually asked you for advice. I gave you a list of songs.
Yep,
and
that was fun.
Yeah, and I was like, you pick out the 11 best,
11, yeah.
and that's what we came up with. Yeah. And then all the leftovers I put on the last two released Disco Gravy albums. Yeah.
Yep. So, are you going to be releasing any music videos for this album?
There's actually already a music video on YouTube and Reverb Nation for a love song. It's a music video I actually recorded a little while ago that I've recently gone back and tweaked a little bit to make it look better. It's available now on YouTube. We're working on eventually trying to release it on iTunes, but this is just a process we're trying to go through right now.
It's a little expensive.
It's a costly thing to get, for some reason, to get a video on YouTube.
But if enough of you buy Everything We Know Is Great,
if you go out and buy,
using that money to release some videos.
Yes.
Hopefully some libertarian message somewhere in there.
Well, we also we're talking about doing a video for Everything We Know Is Gray, the title track, and for Mousehead, which, could be a really cool video. We could definitely put some liberty-minded messages in there. Yeah.
So and the video that's available for A Love Song you did all yourself.
Yes, it's me. I had just gotten my new camera like the day before, a DSLR. And I was just itching to try it out. So I just set up a camera in a couple different positions and lip sync to the song. And in a couple hours, I made a video. I think it turned out pretty well. Yeah, for being one person in a room, lip syncing to a song. Yeah.
I like it. Okay, this is probably the hardest question I have.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. What are your top 5 musical influences?
Yeah. This is just like when people ask me what my favorite movie is or what my favorite song is. It's almost impossible to answer because the list is so expansive. And I've gone through so many different musical tastes over the years. But I have a small list, more than 5 of
You're
bands.
breaking the rules, but that's okay.
That's all right.
Because we're libertarians.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of my biggest influences, at least for what I would say musically, for Professor Redbear, I mean, definitely above all is Nirvana. One of the first bands that I ever listened to growing up when I was a very little kid, really opened my eyes. I would say a lot of the music I write, I owe to the songwriting style of Kurt Cobain, just the way that he wrote guitar licks and stuff like that. But the list would be Nirvana, Bad Religion had a big influence, 9 Inch Nails, because there's a lot of electronic elements in Professor Redbear. And when I first started playing music, it was just punk rock, straight punk rock. And then I started listening to 9 Inch Nails, and that changed everything because I started playing with sequencers, playing with more industrial sounding sounds. And I would say 9 Inch Nails was a huge influence on what I do now in ministry and stuff like that. Bob Dylan. There's a song on Everything We Know Is Great called My Brain, and that was my attempt at writing a Bob Dylan song. That's the way I started to go into the song. So
wow,
I
didn't know that. So, and I love the song My Brain. I got to tell you, I like Dylan.
Yeah,
good guy. I like your song better than Dylan.
Okay, well, thank you. Everybody,
regardless of how you feel about religion, My Brain, definitely.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing
that song.
Offensive there. It's more of a personal song. But the list would go on. Frank Zappa, huge influence. Very cool guy, very libertarian-minded individual who really influenced my sense of humor. And if you don't listen to Frank Zappa, I just recommend trying some out. And Weird Al, I've been listening to Weird Al since I was born. A lot of people don't take him. Same with Frank Zappa. People don't take these artists seriously because they see them as novelty acts. But some of the best music I've ever heard came from Weird Al and Frank Zappa.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
Weird Al is one of the most talented, funny, prolific, wonderful people. Mm-hmm. He's a great musician. Some of the stuff he does on accordion is, if people who haven't heard Weird Al, you hear the word accordion, you're going to be scared away. Yeah. Don't be.
Yeah.
This man is awesome. Amazing.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who Weird Al is, he's the guy who does parodies of whatever's current and popular, and but also most of his songs really are original songs.
I think so, yeah.
And they're hilarious.
Yeah. He's an amazing artist. But to go on with my list, Green Day is a huge influence in my style, especially guitar style. The first song I ever learned to play was Brain Stew by Green Day. Real big influence. Marilyn Manson, huge influence on especially my vocal style sometimes, and again, kind of the hard electronic elements of my music. Deftones more recently. I've been really Chino's vocals, especially, really speak to me, and sometimes I'm like, I want to try to sound like Chino, just because he has such a cool style, the way he screams and stuff.
One of my favorite singers, actually.
He's
Chino Moreno.
one of my favorites, yeah. But then to go on, just a couple more. Pixies were a big influence. NoFX, Rush, and a band called Tullycraft, which I'm sure not a lot of you will know, but this is a little twee band. It's a genre called twee. If you don't know it, look it up. They're kind of like the Vaselines, that kind of music, but really influenced me in my more popular work, like Laser Eyes and Mousehead and stuff like that. So I think that'd be my list.
Okay, that's a pretty good list.
Yeah, not bad.
All right. Well, you already sort of answered this question. I was going to ask you if there was any more Professor Redbear music other than this album, and where you could get it. And there, as you mentioned before, there was a 4-part series called Disco Gravy.
Yes.
Or 4-volume series of, I guess you could call them B-sides, but I got to tell you, some of those songs on there are A-sides.
Yeah. I like it.
There's a song called You and I. I love that song. One of the catchiest little songs I've ever heard.
I wrote that in high school, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. There are definitely some treasures on there. It's all free. It's on Bandcamp.
Yeah, it's
.com.
ProfessorRedbear.bandcamp.com. The 4 Disco Gravies are available there. There's also a single I did of a Weird Al cover, One More Minute, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. You can get that for free from Bandcamp as well. Also, if you go to ReverbNation.com, I think it's ReverbNation.com/ProfessorRedbear, I have a song called Politicians. It's $1.29, but 50% of the proceeds goes to a charity to help children with AIDS. So there's also that you can do. Yeah.
Okay. What is next for Professor Redbear? Is there anything else in the works? I know you have an album just coming out on Tuesday, and you're excited about that and want to promote that. But what's next?
We're actually done writing the next album. It's called The Breakdown. It's a concept album. I can't remember. I think it's like 21, 22 tracks, something like that. It's a lot. But it's something that we're working out right now. As you know, Anthony is now officially a member of
Post everything we know.
Post everything. Yeah, he wasn't involved with everything we know was great, but he's helping out with The Breakdown. But it's a concept album. We're doing a lot of different stuff on it.
It tells a story. Really, everything flows. It's one of those albums like I want to say it's like 9 Inch Nails' The Fragile, or just something similar where there's a theme to the whole record, and the songs kind of flow, and there are recurring lyrics, recurring themes. You can compare it also to American Idiot by Green Day, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's going to be an interesting album. So where are we with this? Go ahead and.
Well, all the songs are written. We've got a lot of it tracked. I think we only have 5 more songs to finish tracking. Something like that. 5, I think. Yeah, and then after that, we're gonna start mixing, and adding a little more electronic elements and stuff like that. And really, we want to make this one really good. Everything we know is great, sounds good, but this one's gonna sound amazing. It's just we're gonna work really hard on it to really get the mixing down and stuff like that. Yeah. So exciting stuff. Let's see. Well, also let me mention also we're also after The Breakdown and whatever, at the same time we're also starting another musical project called Free Radicals, right? The Free Radicals. Yes. And it's going to be much more libertarian. It's going to be 100% almost, at least first thing we're working on. We're talking about an EP I think that after we get The Breakdown finished, which I don't even know when there's going to be a release date for that, because we're really taking our time and trying to make it perfect and special and something you can listen to straight through the whole album and kind of get lost in it.
that's really our focus right now. But after that's done, we want to do just an EP for the Free Radicals to get it out there. All politically oriented songs, some videos for it, which are going to be for you libertarians out there. You're going to be kind of excited.
Well, yeah,
about
I mean, and some of the
things
topics we're talking about is like police violence and mainstream media, and just it's going to be really really strong libertarian messages, and we're really excited about that. It's going to be a little bit heavier, I think, than Professor Redbear.
At least the first EP is. But after that, we might do. We're
going to expand and do some ballads and stuff like that, I think. I mean, not everything we do is probably going to be as politically driven, but the first EP is definitely going to be some pretty strong messages in it.
Do we want to announce the title of that first EP, or we want to hold off? So I think we got that right. Against Authority.
Oh yeah. Against Authority, and that's a big part. And again, like I think both of us are we're both atheists, and I think we just both believe that we don't want any kind of dogma, political or religious, controlling us. So it's a big part of the message too. I think.
We kind of hold a common belief that we can be more moral without government and religion than we can be with. And a lot of people won't agree with that, but we follow the non-aggression principle. That's how our lives are kind of guided, and we're bringing that out in the music. If you're interested, by all means, buy our stuff. So, you had alluded to earlier that you were a film school graduate.
Yes.
And you very heavily influenced by some films. We're definitely going to be doing some cool video work and other things possibly in the future involving video that we're not going to talk about right now.
Right.
But
yes,
I have another question you're going to hate.
Okay.
I want you to tell me what your top 3 films are.
Top 3 films? Oh my God.
You don't have to limit it to 3 if you don't want to.
I have no idea.
Throw a couple of things out there.
Annie Hall. I've told you about this. I don't think you've seen it, but anyone who has not seen it, it's regardless of how you feel about Woody Allen, it's one of it beat Star Wars for the best picture in '77. Just saying.
The Academy's not so wonderful.
It deserved it,
right.
But Shawshank Redemption is probably one of it's. It made me want to make films when I was a young kid when that came out. I saw that movie and I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. That's definitely up there. And honestly, I'm just going to say for my third one on the spot here, it may very well be Star Wars. It's awesome. I don't know, really. It's the same thing when you're a little kid and you watch Star Wars and you're just like, how did they do that? And, it's so powerful to you.
Plus, who doesn't want to be a Jedi?
Exactly, yeah. So I'll say those 3 for now. Annie Hall, Shawshank Redemption, and Star Wars.
All right.
Although there's so much more.
You can throw a couple more out there if you want to.
There's just so many. There's this... a lot of people are probably unfamiliar with it. There's this Belgian film called Man Bites Dog. Really influenced me when I was a young kid too. Everyone should check that out. It's a really, really dark comedy. And also I'll just throw out like Life of Brian and stuff like that. The Monty Python kind of humor definitely was a big influence. And Princess Bride is always on my list. I don't know what it is about that movie. I think it's just one of the most perfect films of all time. I adore it. 8.5 by Fellini. The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie by Buñuel. If anyone gets a chance to watch that, it's pretty good. So there's a lot in there. Un Chien Andalou is a big influence. So yeah.
You're saying a bunch of stuff I've never heard of now. So I'm.
Well, it's film nerd stuff. Yeah.
It's blank stares.
Yeah.
Coming back at him here. Okay. I think we're about done here. Okay. I think we've plugged the LP.
Yes.
Enough.
Buy it.
Yeah. Just buy it. Yeah. Again, it's available almost anywhere you buy music.
It'll be available this Tuesday, February 11th. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to listen to some samples of everything we know is great, Amazon's got it up right now.
You can listen to samples on Amazon. Yep.
Yeah, but you can listen to samples. So go ahead and do that. Head over to Amazon.com and search Professor Redbear. It'll come up. Give it a listen.
Yeah, and make sure you follow us on Twitter. Redbear Music at Redbear Music is the Twitter account. I just started a Facebook page. If you look up Professor Redbear, I think it's facebook.com/RedbearMusic. And of course, there's Bandcamp if you want some free music.
Reverb Nation.
Reverb Nation, Professor Redbear. I think that's about it right now. But yeah, just Google us and you'll find all kinds of good stuff. Yeah.
All right. So to end the show here, we're going to play one more song. So you get 2 whole songs off the album for free to listen to right now. This last one is called Mousehead, Fight the World.
Yes.
And again, as I said before, one of the catchiest songs I've heard in a long time. And I love it. You guys enjoy.
Yeah.
And until next time.
Well, just real quick. Just real quick. As a piece of trivia, because a lot of people probably listen to the song and they're like, Mousehead? What does Mousehead mean? Like, just to explain that, if you ever do text talk or talk online or whatever, and you do a heart, it's the what is it? The little bracket, the lesser than symbol, the greater than symbol, whatever it is, and a 3. And you put it together and it looks like a heart, but sideways. But to me, it looks like a mouse head. So that's where the name comes from. It's a sideways heart. So.
All right.
Yeah.
So, before I was so rudely interrupted, until next time, Singularum Libertas.
Tell me how stupidity has engulfed our society. You and me, we both seem to see how f***ed up all these things can be. Passions in the front, logic in the back. We're here to share the intelligence they lack. We will fight the world, we'll fight the world, babe. We will fight the world, we'll fight the world. We will fight the world, we'll fight the world, babe. We will fight the world, we'll fight the world. Who are the smartest I know? If we could just build clones, we might be okay. But for now, we must protest them, teach them the lessons they should know. Passions in the front, logic in the back. We're here to share the intelligence they lack. We will fight the world, we'll fight the world, babe. We will fight the world, we'll fight the world. We will fight the world, we'll fight the world, babe. We will fight the world, we'll fight the world. God bless America. God bless us all. No, thank you. God bless America. God bless us all. Go to hell. Back. We're here to share the intelligence they lack. We will fight the world, we'll fight the world, babe. We will fight the world, we'll fight the world. We will fight the world, we'll fight the world. will fight the world.